Greetings, voids and manlets. Today, I'll be telling you about how hypergamy ruined my life and made me the chud loser I am today, while building my tropical mall in Roblox. So, to start off with, I decided to DM a woman on Instagram and shoot my shot, as a chud does. She's an absolute Stacy and I went to high school with her, so she probably knows I exist at least. So I began by requesting to follow her, and within the hour she requested to follow me back, and accepted my request, so I figured it was a solid start. I waited some time before I slid into her DMs, and when I did, it was on a story she had posted to keep it light and natural. She responded to what I'd said within a few hour or two, so I figured it would have been a very solid start. I waited until the next morning to respond to what she had said to make sure it didn't seem desperate or like I was waiting for her response. You know, you gotta you gotta play it cool. You don't want to seem like you're just sitting there waiting. Oh my God, please DM me back. Please DM me back. You know, your value comes from your availability. So I had to make sure she recognized that I wasn't just sitting on my phone just waiting for that response. So I would like to preface that since we do follow each other, Instagram tells me about our activity. So I had seen her on Instagram numerous times. Out of curiosity, one day I checked to see if she had read the message, and I saw the worst thing you could have probably seen. The message had been left unread for 3 days up to that point. I felt like a total loser and wanted to unfollow her out of embarrassment because what was I thinking? I could looks match with a D1 athlete, Stacy. Honestly, that's kind of my fault. I didn't have enough foresight, but I mean, you gotta lose to know what it feels like to win. I feel like everybody can kind of resonate with that sentiment. But anyways, at first I was convinced it was because of me, but after some deliberating, I realized it wasn't. And it's due to the fact that my Instagram at face value did not scream that I was of the top 1% of men looking for her attention. Which partially is on me, but I'm telling you, if you're listening to this, you have to LARP on social media. It's the only way. But in saying that, it all made more sense. She was hypergamous, like every other woman who didn't respond to any of my advances on any other platforms. I doom scrolled Instagram Reels to confirm my suspicion and to validate my conclusions. Because obviously, if the people were posting about it on Instagram Reels, it's not just me that's experiencing this. It's a very widely accepted phenomenon that many young men, such as myself, have to deal with, and there's not much we can do about it. We're kind of just trapped unless you're absolute Chad. If I was to be over 6 feet, wealthy, and then post tens of hundreds of LARP pictures, she would have responded eagerly to my advances because she would have seen I was an absolute Chad instead of being an MTN. And in being an MTN, I was grouped into the chopped subhuman category of men in her mind. So I was doomed after that. It was over. Women nowadays are just so insufferable because of how much hypergamy is pushed into our society by the media, by things like TikTok, or even worse, Love Island. It genuinely ruins the dating experience of MTN men like myself because of the fact they think their value is much higher than it truly is. I have had my self-esteem ruined, and have resorted to gambling and watching looks maxing advice from strangers on how to ascend, so I might be able to, sorry, I'm getting a little distracted here. The, Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to call me. But back to what I was saying. Most women nowadays see themselves as higher value than just a sub 5 average woman, which is the exact problem. I can't keep gesturing for women in the dating fashion because they'll reject you before you even open your mouth because they would rather share Chad than to sacrifice themselves into dating a manlet. So instead of beckoning for more attention from women, I began hate DMing hundreds of them trying to lower their perceived image of themselves so other middle-looking guys might have a chance of gaining the love and affection of a woman, even if it's temporary until Chad appears to take them from you. So, kind of just to conclusion of everything here is hypergamy is honestly the death of modern dating and why there are hundreds, thousands of studies showing a declining birth rate and increased singleness amongst young men, mostly because the girls who's attractive enough to date them think she deserves a man from the top 0.001% of men in the world because social media and especially other women have lied to her saying she's worth more than she truly is. So that about concludes my rant on how hypergamy has ruined my life. I hope you all learned something. I promise I took my meds today. So yeah, stay tuned.